Hello, Pan American families. I am so happy and excited to be here with you today. Welcome back to our Eduversity series, where we help expand your perspective with books about diversity and cultural differences. My name is Mrs. Schupack, and today I will be reading the book Stacey's Extraordinary Words by Stacey Abrams. This book has helped open my heart and mind because Stacey Abrams has been a role model for me for many years. I admire her incredible leadership and dedication to working toward justice in our country and toward ensuring that all people have a voice within our democracy. Reading this book about her when she was a child and her love of books made me feel connected to her on a very personal level because I have always loved books too. I also was inspired by her dedication to keep trying, even when things didn't go as she had hoped. Her strength, courage, dedication, and altruism inspire me to strive to emulate her in my own life. My hope is that you will find your own personal message in this book. So let's get started reading Stacey's Extraordinary Words. I feel so lucky to be able to share this book with you. It was a gift from a friend of mine. And then I've had the chance to read it with some of you at the Black History Bedtime Month Black History Month bedtime stories. So I'm so happy to share it with all of you today. Stacey's Extraordinary Words by Stacey Abrams. Stacey's Extraordinary Words by Stacey Abrams, illustrated by Kit Thomas. To my first storytellers, mom and dad, to my bibliophile siblings all, and to our newest generation of readers, Jordan, Faith, Cameron, Ryan, Aaron, and Devin. Stacey loved words. She loved to read and write and say them. She adored fun words, long words, unusual words, words with wonderful histories and weird combinations. Whenever Stacey learned a new word, it was like making a new friend. First, she would find the dictionary. Then she would look up where the word had come from and learn its secrets. Did any of its letters hide and stay quiet, like the P in ptarmigan, a bird that lives in cold northern regions? Or were they strong, like the I in bright? Next, she wrote the word in her special notebook of extraordinary words. She practiced how to arrange the letters just right, how to sound them out. That's because she loved spelling interesting words most of all. With her favorite words, she would try to remember their quirks, what made them special. When she saw a super long word like onomatopoeia, a funny word to describe the sounds of other words, she had to jump and sway. Words like duckling made her grin. Persnickety tickled her tongue. Sorry, I'm having trouble turning. There we go. Sometimes Stacey thought that words understood her better than people did. When she sat by herself during recess, they never teased her about being quiet or about being clumsy when she fell or awkward when the joke in her head came out wrong. When she read books under the covers, words never told her to go to sleep. Words understood why she was grumpy or anxious. In fact, words helped her explain what she was feeling, if only to herself. One day, Stacey's teacher, Mrs. Blakesley, asked her to wait after class. She squirmed in her seat because she was afraid. Petrified, another way to say really, really afraid. Usually, the teacher only kept a student after class because of a blunder, a mistake. Mrs. Blakesley called Stacey to her desk and she returned her spelling test. A big red 100 sat at the top of the page. The teacher asked her, Do you know what a spelling bee is? A really smart insect, Stacey joked. The teacher smiled. A spelling bee is a contest where students compete to spell as many words correctly as they can. I would like for you to participate. Stacey couldn't believe it. Who else will be there? I am nominating you and Jake, the spelling bees, next week. Stacey's excitement suddenly evaporated. Jake was not her friend. He was a bully who knew words too. Just yesterday, he had used a complicated word that made Suki cry. Last week, she heard him say something cruel to Zivko about his accent. Stacey thought it was stupendous that Zivko knew words in two different languages, just like all of you. Stacey knew as many words as Jake did. She wanted to say something when he said mean things to her friends, but she was intimidated, scared, because sometimes he said hurtful things to her too. She wished she had used her clever words to help Suki or Zivko or herself by speaking up. Perhaps at the spelling bee, she would be braver. At the spelling bee, she would not be silent. All week long, Stacey studied her spelling words from school and the ones she kept in her notebook. Still, the spelling bee felt as far away as the longest word she had ever seen. Sesquipedalian, a fancy way to describe words with lots of syllables. I don't even know how to say that word. I have to look it up. Oh, I'm going to look what it says there. Sesquipedalian. Sesquipedalian. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I have to look it up. The days of the week were monotonous, torturous, and sluggish. Every hour felt longer and longer. Stacey wished for the week to whisk its days away. Finally, the morning of the spelling bee arrived. Stacey walked into the county library with her mother, holding her hand tight. Mama gave her a big hug and whispered into her ear, "Just do your best. Your dad and I are very proud of you." Stacey followed her teacher to the room where the other students waited until it was time to go. Then they went onto a stage. The announcer explained the rules. Kids stepped up to the microphone one by one to get their word. If they spelled it right, the announcer told them so. But if they made a mistake, a bell would ring. The student would have to leave the stage. No do-overs. Stacey's turn finally came. Her stomach ached with nervous energy, but she was ready. Say the word, dither. Sound it out. Dither. Spell it. Dither. That is correct, the announcer called on the next student and the next. Promptly, enormous, shudder, transportation, craggy, reception, village. Finally, only three contestants remained: Stacey and Jake and a girl from another school. The girl went up to spell her word. Ding! She had spelled chocolate without the second O. We are down to our final two contestants, the announcer told the audience. Jake took a long time to spell, except Stacey got squeezed, but she remembered the lost letters she adored, like Q and Z. Jack tackled clamoring. Stacey conquered disengage. Then Jake defeated geometry. Stacey returned to the podium, ready to battle with her next word. She repeated it. She pronounced it. She spelled it. Instantanious. Instantaneous. As she waited, I'm so sorry for the I did not do a good job scanning this page. As she waited, I think it's going to say for the announcer to say it. Let's see. As she waited for the announcer, the bell dinged. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The proper spelling is. Stacey couldn't hear the rest of what he said. Tears filled her eyes, but she stayed on stage like a good sport as Jake got his trophy and she received her second place ribbon. Everyone congratulated Jake, and so did she. Good job. Jake laughed and rolled his eyes. At least I know the difference between I and E. Stacey felt embarrassed, but she refused to let Jake make her cry. Well, I misspelled my word, but I do know how to be courteous. You should try it. She turned away and went to find her mom. If today were like one of the stories Stacey loved most, she would have won. And Jake would have learned that words are a gift that shouldn't be used to hurt people. I love that line so much. I want to say it for you again. And Jake would have learned that words were a gift that shouldn't be used to hurt people. But things didn't always happen that way in real life. Sometimes change was harder, and it didn't happen right away. Stacey felt a hand brush at her cheek. It opened her fist and smoothed out the ribbon. Mama? She put a butterscotch candy on top, Stacey's favorite kind. You okay? I lost, but you came so far, nearly to the very end. Not far enough. I got the wrong letter and I didn't win. I failed. You only fail if you stop, her mother reminded her. I know there's a word for that. You know it too. Stacey thought about one of her favorite words, perseverance. Perseverance. Exactly. So let's get home. Let's go home and learn more words. There's always next year. Stacey imagined all the words she had yet to meet, new words and new ways to speak and help others. She'd find them all. No, Mama, there's always tomorrow. And here we can see her winning the spelling bee. And here she is graduating from college. And here she is speaking. And let's read a little bit more about her now. Author's note. I love words. So do I. I can't remember ever not loving them. As a preschooler, when class ended, my parents were still hard at work. Luckily, I attended preschool on the college campus where my mother served as librarian. She would have us nap in the stacks as she continued to work, and I nestled with books and stories and words. Even today, the rich scent of a library or the waft of a freshly opened book makes me smile. Me too. It's my favorite smell. I just want to share with you a few questions. Stacey's mom reminded her, you only fail if you stop. Has anyone ever given you similar advice? How have you persevered like Stacey? Let's think about that for a little while. Then I want to ask you a super fun question that it would be so hard for me to pick, but I think I do have one I'm going to share. What is your very favorite word? Why is it your favorite? So I have to share 3 words in 3 different languages. My first favorite word is mariposa. I love the word mariposa. In Spanish, there's something so beautiful about a butterfly flying and just the way it sounds. It's my favorite. I also love the word. It's a Hebrew word, beshert, which means meant to be. I love that word. And then last but not least, my favorite word in English is heart, because my cousin Amy, who's an author, discovered that the letters in the names of my husband and my son and my daughter form the word heart. So I love that. And I love the meaning of heart, that we should always do everything with our heart. And last but, and I want to hear what your favorites are. So hopefully think about it and you can tell me when you see me in the hallway. How have you used your words to do good? Like Stacey. How have you used your words to do good? Just like Stacey. How do you do that every day? So I want you to think about that. And I want to challenge you to please spend the rest of today trying to use your words to do good. There are myriad ways that we can do good with our words. And am so lucky to witness you all doing so many kind things, saying so many kind words to your classmates and your teachers. And I hope you continue to do that throughout the rest of your day and forever. Thank you all for listening with me. It is such an honor to read with you for Eduversity.